Hi, Dr. Yaple, Santa Roberts. This is my story about climbing Allen and getting a little displaced. So, it started off on a summer afternoon. My dad and I woke up at about 4 a.m. We climbed in the truck, got ready. I was only about 11 years old, so 4 a.m. was really early for me. I climbed in the truck and took the long ride from Lake George all the way up to Adirondacks to Allen. And I usually slept and my dad would drive, and it was fine because I was so young and he didn't mind. So we got to the trailhead, met up with my dad's two friends who did all the high peaks with us, and we got on the trail, and I had my pack, and we started hiking for the day. So I was never a fan of the uphill part of hiking. So I usually stayed in the middle and just followed along, but I didn't want to be in the back because at 11 years old, my biggest fear was that something was going to grab me from the back and just drag me and kill me, which is a little ridiculous, but I was 11. So as we're hiking along, I'm just, happy to be there. I'm about halfway through my high peaks, so I'm trying to knock them down every year and get to 46. So we get to the summit, enjoy the view. Typically we would sit for about half an hour, eat some food, drink, try to repower, and head back down the mountain. So we're coming down the mountain. I'm always in the lead. My dad hates the downhill. It kills his knees. So as we're hiking down the mountain, I'm blazing ahead, but I keep track of my dad because obviously he's my dad, and my mom would be upset if I returned home without my dad. So I get down to part of the clearing. Now we did a loop, so the same way we went up wasn't the same way we came down. So I followed the signs, everything was good, and all of a sudden we got to this huge clearing. I mean, we're talking at least a couple hundred acres of trees that are down. Now, just previous to that, in the fall, there was a huge storm that blew down a lot of the trees in that area. But also, just down the road, in one of the hunting camps that have been there for many years, like the Opalescent Club, they were starting to do some logging for Finch and Prime Paper Company. So it was a combination of blowdown and logging. So I get there, and there's these lovely little orange ribbons that help guide you through the downed trees because there's so many paths from the loggers walking around that it's really hard to tell what the true trail is. So I'm following them, and if you've ever been through blowdowns, it's kind of like, oh, orange ribbon, and you go to here. And then you find another one, you're like, oh, orange ribbon, go to here. So it's super easy to get displaced. So I'm following the orange ribbons. I'm thinking to myself, I feel like we're in the same place. So I turned to my dad, I'm like, Dad, I don't know where we're going. I was like, I think we're going in circles. So he was like, all right, well, let's take a break, let's regroup. So we sat down and got a drink, and he started to pull out his map and compass and other things about information we had on the trail. So I, at this point, being 11 years old, I'm thinking, oh my God, my mom is got to be panicking. She must know that we're lost. Mind you, it was only about 2 in the afternoon and we had plenty of daylight left. But as a young kid, I started to panic. So I sat down with my dad and started to freak out. So at this point during my story is when I would ask the class, our class, or the students I was teaching, ideas of what my dad and I should do to regroup. And in our class, I'm going to do my activity now, which is this lovely compass I made down here.